Hello, football fans! Welcome back in for another edition of my college football preview for this upcoming weekend. Last week, we enjoyed a solid 4-0 performance. Yes, sir! We won some more unders from Georgia, Kentucky, and the Can't Trust It Wisconsin offense, as well as banking in on Indiana and Colorado's clear victories. Let's take a look at a few games that sit before us this weekend. More precisely, I've got 4 more college football picks to share with you. Let's rock and roll! First up, let's look at the NC State versus Clemson matchup at noon on Saturday. If you've been following, you'll already know that I am not as high on Clemson as is the rest of the country. I've already stated that they have plenty of talent there, they just don't seem to have what it takes to put it all together. Week 1, we won with a Clemson under. Then week 2, we got burned by Clemson. But that does not scare me off. My numbers still have the Tigers' offense as something that doesn't warrant much attention. I'm not yet convinced that Cade Klubnik is the answer at quarterback. I think their 66 points against App State was nice, but not a real measure of who they really are. NC State comes to town and will have to rely on freshman quarterback CJ Bailey, making his first start in one of the most hostile environments in all of college football. This is quite a daunting task for the youngster. Losing their starting quarterback, Grayson McCall, seems bad on the surface for the Wolfpack, but I actually think Bailey might be a slight upgrade the way McCall has looked the first 2 games. And it's possible that since he's a freshman, he won't know he's supposed to be intimidated in Death Valley. In recent matchups, the Wolfpack's head coach Dave Doeren always seems to have something in his bag of tricks to cause Clemson to slip up. The line is Clemson favored by 20.5 points. That's a lot. I lean toward taking the points since this matchup tends to have some unexpected things happen. But rather than that, I'm going to count on the scenario that the freshman QB makes some plays and keeps his offense on the field for longer than expected, and that Doeren will dial up some defensive curveballs to trick this questionable Clemson offense. I see this playing out with a Tiger victory 20-10. So I kind of like the full game under 44 points, but I would rather go with the Clemson team total under 32 points. That's my official pick in this game. Let's go! Next up, the battle for Dallas. The rivalry between SMU and TCU, affectionately known as the Iron Skillet, has been played over 100 times dating back to 1915. It will again be played in quite possibly the least likable stadium ever, Gerald Ford Stadium. While it's a big matchup for these 2 schools, the rest of the nation most likely will not really give a flip about it. But since it's a heated rivalry, especially this year since the forecast calls for 95 to 100 degree heat, it gets my attention. I love looking back over the history of fan bases that don't really like each other. I think this year's game will play out a lot like some other contests from the last few years. It's time for a Texas brawl. Even the mayor of Dallas got in the fray wearing a TCU Sox t-shirt. I thought this was quite funny. Out the gate, SMU has looked dreadful. They ended up benching quarterback Preston Stone, my pick to lead the ACC in passing, for a more mobile, dynamic player in Kevin Jennings. Last time out, the Mustangs were less than stellar in their loss to BYU, but they've had a week off to get things organized and ready to come out swinging. The coaching staff will have installed something special for Jennings. While SMU has underwhelmed through 3 games, I think they start to get back on track this week. On the other side, TCU has question marks everywhere. They are still reeling from blowing an 18-point lead last week to UCF. However, in the loss, quarterback Josh Hoover threw for over 400 yards and 4 TDs. I think they bring that firepower again this week and light up the scoreboard again. The current line sits at TCU -3 and over under 58 points. While I don't have a real good feel for the side, I do have a feel that both of these teams will score. I expect both of these defenses will continue to not tackle well, wear down in the Texas heat, and thus allow a boatload of points. The last 10 games between these two have averaged nearly 68 points a game. Twice the total went into the 90s. So, for that reason, let's hope for lots of explosive plays, mistakes, and especially touchdowns. I am on the over 58 points in the SMU-TCU shootout. The next pick for us is on the much anticipated SEC debut of the Oklahoma Sooners. Currently ranked 15th, they host the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers in what promises to be an exciting game in Norman. The current line has visiting Tennessee a 7-point favorite, and the game total at 56.5. It always makes me raise an eyebrow when a ranked team is an underdog at home, especially as much as a touchdown. However, this one might seem right. I do, however, like the under 56.5 points. That's my official betting prediction for this SEC matchup. In the preseason video, we discussed taking the over 7.5 wins for Oklahoma this year. Before the season started, I was high on young quarterback Jackson Arnold. However, watching the Sooners play over the past few weeks, I am now skeptical in my original assessment. That 7.5 wins might be in jeopardy. Oklahoma's offense has been very predictable. Another preseason pick was wide receiver Deion Burks to lead the SEC in receiving. He currently sits second with 22 catches. That's good news. However, really no one else on the Oklahoma offense is catching the ball. Arnold is focusing on the future NFL receiver way too much. Tennessee's defense is not their best unit by far, but I think they will come in aiming to shut Brooks down and make the Sooners one-dimensional. Oklahoma's defense is its best unit. They will be ready to play and ready to stifle the Volunteers. Tennessee has an explosive offense under former Heisman Trophy winner, coach Josh Heupel. Tennessee usually starts the game with a bang, so Tennessee first quarter plays are usually free money. This week's line is -3 points. I don't hate that. I could see the first quarter ending like 7-0 while each team figures the other out. I think the Sooners defense will adjust throughout the game and keep Tennessee close for a while. Eventually, I think Tennessee will be too much and I'm expecting a 31-20 victory, keeping us under the 56.5 points. Now for something a little different and a little fun. Several books will offer teaser bets. In case you don't know, teaser bets are where you can change the line on a game to your advantage, but you must pair it with another teaser bet. Then you have to win both bets to cash. Generally, the advice is teasers are meant for the very sharp lines in the NFL, and smart people say you should not do teasers for college football's unpredictability. So this pick is for fun. I like to throw a few bucks on some interesting games to make them a little more meaningful when watching. So my teaser of the week is to tease up Georgia Tech up to +17.5 against Louisville. And I'm going to pair it with a game I am really interested in watching. South Florida teased up to plus 22.5 against Miami. I think USF is going to give Miami a handful and keep it close. Would you like to receive all of my college football premium picks? On average, our members receive between 5 and 7 premium NCAA football betting tips per week. As of Friday morning, I have already found one great value wager that I submitted to my group of savvy sports investors. You can therefore expect 4 to 6 more to come by Saturday. If you are interested to gain access to those exclusive betting plays, join the numerous other bettors at mjpicks.com. This is where you want to go if you want to truly invest in your sports betting success. I'm Professor MJ, holder of a PhD in statistics. I am looking forward to share my top college football picks with you at mjpicks.com.